and even the early 2000s, there was this movement where people really wanted to avoid fat.
That's where you're going, fat ass!
Hello there and welcome back to Day's Health Diaries. My name is Daisy, aka D, and I'm a certified diet coach. I upload weekly videos on weight loss myths, and I've already uploaded a few which you can see in the playlist below. And the whole point behind these weight loss myths is to address the misconceptions that are out there about weight loss. I've had very many, I'm sure you've also had a few, and today we'll be addressing the myth that fats make you fat. So without much further ado, let's get started. Let's understand why people think this. Let's understand what the science says. And let's also understand how we can incorporate healthy fats in our lives so that we can have our fats and keep them off our adipose tissues.
Get in my belly!
Okay, let's start with the background. For any myth, there always has to be a story behind it, because people don't just wake up one day and decide that they're going to believe that something is true. Instead, there's always something that drove them to think that. And when it comes to why fats make you fat, there are three reasons behind these. The first one is the caloric density. If you compare fats to other macros such as carbs and proteins, you'll see that there's a very big difference. For fats, we're talking about 9 calories per gram. And when it comes to carbs and proteins, we're talking about 4 calories per gram. And so if you look at it in terms of calories per gram, you can see that fat is much higher. And so people start thinking that, okay, if fat is giving me 9 calories per gram and carbs and proteins give me 4 calories per gram, then there's an evident relationship between fats and becoming fat. The second one is the shared name. When you talk about fats, and then we also talk about fats, we're talking about body fat and dietary fat. And as we know, body fat is not really a good thing. And when you're obese, there are many conditions that come with it. You're more predisposed to lifestyle conditions, including even cancer. So people have come to fear the word fat. You hear fat, you think it's something bad for you, because we've had it all the time. We hear it in the doctor's offices. We see it in the media when they're talking about health.
I'm fat.
Fat is a bad thing. So people conflate that with dietary fat because they think that if they eat this dietary fat, that will convert into body fat. I mean, they're not entirely wrong, because again, when we talk about surplus calories, then yes, we do get fat from the food that we eat. But then they've come to conflate this so much that they are afraid of any kind of fat. They don't really distinguish between what's healthy fat and what's unhealthy fat, and instead they just group them all into one group. Fat makes you fat, so it's just better to go low fat, or some people even try to go no fat, which is very hard. And the only reason behind that is because they think that if they keep eating dietary fat, then they're going to get body fat. And that's something that they really do not want. Then the third one is the fat-free craze. At some point in the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, and even the early 2000s, there was this movement where people really wanted to avoid fat.
That's where you're going, fat ass!
They went low fat. They started making fat-free items. The idea was that if you could get rid of fat in your life, fat in your diet, then you'll end up losing a lot of weight and you'll end up avoiding so many health conditions. So people grew up thinking that fat was a bad thing, because if you went to the supermarket, you'll see something like low-fat milk. If you went to a market to buy some snacks, then you will find fat-free snacks, and these were considered to be the healthier items. These were the items that were advertised on TV. They were the items that were advertised on magazines. They're still the items that you'll see now in an ad, because you're told go fat-free or low fat, and then you'll end up losing weight, because fat is bad for you. So if you get rid of fat, you end up losing weight, and you also end up avoiding very many health conditions. So people started thinking, okay, then fat must be a bad thing.
Do I look bad in this dress?
Hell yeah, you do. Wait, let me speak your language. Cows go moo.
Because even when you look at celebrities and other influencers or even public figures who have lost weight, and then they say that they went low on fat, people start thinking then, okay, that's the answer to it. It's just like with the carbs issue, like I explained in my previous video. The media plays a very big role in how we see food. And so if people start going fat-free and they start seeing results from it, then they start thinking that, okay, then fat is a bad thing. The same thing goes for carb-free or any other thing that people remove from their diet. Now let's look at what the science says. Does science support what we believe? Does science support the fat-free craze that took over in the 1970s to 2000s and that's threatening to come back now?
You're too fat for that skirt.
When it comes to science, it's very simple. Calories in versus calories out. It doesn't really matter whether you're getting the calories from fats or from carbs or from proteins. Again, I have to add the nuance here that calories don't matter. The quality of calories does matter. As I said in my previous video, all calories are not equal because calories affect how you feel. Because when you talk about calories, you also have to factor in the macros. And macros and micronutrients affect how you feel, and they also shape how you look. But when it comes to weight loss, and you're just looking at weight loss, and you don't really care about how you feel or how you look, then calories are calories. So it doesn't really matter where they're coming from. So if you end up eating so many fats that you end up in a caloric surplus, then you will end up gaining weight.
Well, it all comes from eating too much.
But if you're only eating enough fats and carbs and proteins, and then you're just staying within your maintenance, or even at a deficit, you lose weight or you maintain weight depending on whether you're in a deficit or not. So fats will not necessarily make you fat. But if you eat so many fats that you go over your maintenance calories, you will gain weight. But if you're eating them and you're still staying within a deficit, a calorie deficit, then you don't gain weight. In fact, you lose weight. So when it comes to science, fats do not make you fat.
People are fat.
It's calories. It's the number of calories that you're eating that determines whether you end up fat. Other than the weight aspect, let's talk about health, because we talk about fats in two ways. First, we look at the weight, and then we look at the health aspect, because people say fats will make you gain weight, and fats will also predispose you to lifestyle diseases. So we've said that fats will not necessarily make you gain weight, but will they predispose you to some diseases? At the base level, fats are good for you because they affect hormone production, vitamin absorption, and overall brain health. But in this case, we're not talking about any kinds of fats. It's the healthy fats that are responsible for the functioning of the body, for the optimal functioning of the body. So when we talk about healthy fats, we're talking about unsaturated fats, the ones that support the body when it comes to hormone production, vitamin absorption, and brain health. These are the good fats. The more of these that you have, the better your heart health, the better your brain health, the better your overall health. But when we're talking about the bad fats, the unhealthy fats, we're talking about saturated and trans fats. While the jury is still out on how bad saturated fats are, because some people say that it's better to have low saturated fats in your diet, but then this just comes down between one study versus the other. They haven't really decided that this is the optimum amount of saturated fats that you should have, but they've all decided that and agreed that it's important to reduce the amount of saturated fats that are in our diets. And when I talk about saturated fats that you find in things like eggs and red meat. But when I talk about trans fats, these are the bad ones. The jury is not out on these ones.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
The jury has come out and it has said that these are the fats that you really want to limit as much as you can, or even avoid completely. We're talking about the kind of fats that you'll find in hydrogenated oils. I don't know if you guys have things like Kimbo or Kasuku where you come from. These are those hydrogenated oils that are just very white and just very bad for you. And then we're talking about the kind of trans fats that you find in margarine. These are the kinds of fats that will raise your bad cholesterol, because as you know, okay, maybe you might not know this, there are two kinds of cholesterol. There is the good cholesterol and then there's the bad kind. So when your doctor is telling you that cholesterol is too high, they're talking about the bad kind. Trans fats and saturated fats have been linked to increased levels of bad cholesterol. But when you talk about the healthy fats, we're talking about the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. These have been linked to increased levels of good cholesterol. Good cholesterol is what's going to help in all of those processes that I talked about earlier, the hormone production, the vitamin absorption, and the brain health. So again, now let's come to the summary. The summary is that fats will not necessarily make you fat. It just comes down to the calories. And number two, when it comes to health, there's a very big difference between healthy fats and unhealthy fats. We have our healthy fats. These are our polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. These are the fats that you naturally find in foods like nuts. You find them in avocados. You find them in seeds. And then we have our unhealthy fats. Like I said, saturated fats are a bit of a gray area, because some people will say that you need to limit them completely, or that you have to maintain a certain limit. But then as much as there's a bit of a gray area when it comes to that, it's always better to reduce them and limit them to some extent. But when it comes to trans fats, the word is out. The jury is out, like I said, and you have to limit these and even avoid them completely if you can. So if it comes down to whether you're going to use margarine on your bread or butter, it's better to choose butter. That's saturated fat, it's not trans fat, and that's better for you. The idea here is limit the fats that will increase your bad cholesterol, and those are the saturated fats and the trans fats, but then have more of the good kinds of fats that will improve your good cholesterol and will aid in the optimal functioning of your body.
You sure you guys don't want anything?
So that's it, and then we have come to our summary. Now let's see how we can marry the two. How can you actually keep having fats in your diet without gaining fat? We have 3 things that you can do, and namely they are moderation, portion control, and careful selection. And I know that when people talk of moderation, it sounds like such a very vague thing, because everything in moderation, what does that even mean? Okay, let's start with how do you moderate fats actually? In the past, we're talking about the 1970s all the way to the early 2000s. What people did when they decided that fat was bad was that they replaced it. But unfortunately, they replaced it with refined carbs and sugars. They replaced it with things that were equally bad for them instead of just having fats as part of their diet and then working around the fats to include all those other macros. Because as you know, our diet is not optimal if we're only focusing on one macro. In fact, our diet should be as diverse as possible. We need our fats, we need our carbs, we need our proteins, and we need our micronutrients, because all these foods serve very different roles in our bodies. Our protein will help us build muscle, like I have all this muscle. Okay, our protein helps us build muscle. Our carbs provide us with energy. Our vitamins and minerals are essential for very many functions within the body. So we cannot really just get rid of one thing. So this is where moderation comes in. So when you talk about moderation, the idea here is that you will have to have fats as part of your diet. You'll have to have carbs, you'll have to have proteins, you'll have to have the foods that give you vitamins and minerals, that we're talking about, even fruits and vegetables, seeds and nuts and all of those things that are good for you. But you need to understand that they are all important in your diet, and that means that you cannot just rely on one. You need to have the whole rainbow. So that's when we're talking about moderation. We're talking about having all of these things be part of your diet and not replacing one with another, and instead just marrying them together.
Amazing food! Oh my gosh!
Number 2, which is also related to the moderation. Okay, you've decided that you'll have these fats as part of your diet, but how many of them will you actually have? Okay, when it comes to fats, like we said, they're very calorie dense. We're talking about like a simple tablespoon of peanut butter, and it tastes good, it feels really good, it's good for you technically. And if you eat just that tablespoon, you're probably at around 100 calories just from one tablespoon.
I swear to God. Oh, good, there you are. Now, be a good little crotch spawn and let's go back to your room.
I'm hungry.
Well, maybe I can make you a peanut butter jelly and eat their sandwich.
When you talk about nuts, and this is something that people really have trouble with, because nuts are considered healthy, but then again you're told to limit them, because you just take one handful, and depending on how big your feast is, one handful can be up to 200 calories. One handful for one person is 100, another one is like 300 calories, and then it also depends on whether the nuts have been processed more, because if you're talking about nuts that have been oiled, then you're also going to add those calories. Nuts that have added sugar, added chocolate. People do so many things to nuts.
Happy Valentine's Day, SpongeBob. I'm nuts for you.
Well, I'm bubbles for you, Sandy.
So a handful might seem like such a small thing, but you might end up using just a handful to get to 500 calories. And that's why it's very important for you to be mindful of your portions, but just how mindful. It might seem a bit extra to do this, but the idea is to just measure the amount of fat that you're taking. You don't actually have to have a weighing scale. Okay, if you can do that, that's even better, because it gives you precise measurements. But if you cannot do that, you can use spoons, and also you can use your hands as a measure. For example, if you're talking about olive oil, adding olive oil to your salad, instead of just free pouring, which I see people doing, how about you have a tablespoon? There are these cups and spoons that you can buy that are they already have the measurements put in there. So like if it's a tablespoon, it will read this is a tablespoon, this is a teaspoon, this is half a tablespoon. You'll know what exactly you're adding, and that helps you be more mindful of what you're adding to your food. So if it's a tablespoon of olive oil, that's what the recipe says, then you'll just add a tablespoon of the olive oil. If you're eating nuts, instead of taking the whole bag and just eating as you go, you just pour some into your hand. Consider that a handful. That's a serving of nuts. That's enough. It's very easy to overeat fats, and that's why it's always helpful to have these small ways to measure just exactly how many fats you're consuming. The less you consume, the better for you in terms of your health, because as much as these are good for you, there is also a limit. And when you're talking about eating so many fats that you're going over your maintenance calories, unless you're trying to gain weight, then you'll end up gaining weight which is going to be bad for you because if you're not trying to do that. And we know that excess weight has negative effects on our health.
I must have put these pants in the dryer. I'm going.
So even if it feels very restrictive to maybe just have a handful of nuts, just know that you don't really need to have so much fat in your diet. You need a handful of nuts here, a tablespoon of olive oil there, and then maybe a glass of milk later. These are all sources of fat. These are all good sources of fat, and you can have them in your diet without going over your maintenance calories if you're mindful. And then finally, when we talk about careful selection, we're talking about the kind of fats that you have, because again, it's easy to moderate and also measure the kind of fat that you're having, but you're just focusing on maybe trans fats. Like your measurements are a tablespoon of margarine, a tablespoon of maybe cooking oil. These are not the things that we're talking about when we talk about healthy fats. So we need to carefully select the kind of fats that are good for you. And these are the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. Limit the saturated fats and the trans fats. And for the trans fats, like I said, if you can eliminate them, the better. In fact, the recommended intake for trans fats is 0 grams per day. We're talking about healthy options like fatty fish, avocados, seeds, and nuts. And in these, also care about the preparation method, because you might get fatty fish, which is good for you, and then you just go and deep fry it. Okay, once in a while, that's fine. But look for healthier ways to cook. Saute, grill, steam. Find healthier ways to cook that do not end up adding unhealthy fats into the mix. That's it when it comes to how you can actually lose weight while still eating fat, and why fat is not actually a bad thing for you. I hope you enjoyed this session. I'd like to know what you learned from these or what you think. I know that fats are a very complex topic. It's very nuanced, and that's why I decided to add it into this series, because I see many people avoiding fats because they think that it will make them fat. In fact, in my program Better in 90, which is linked down below, I have seen very many clients come to me and they are afraid of fats because they think that fats make them fat. But I come to show them that there's a sustainable way to incorporate these fats in your diet and still lose weight and still feel good, because fats are important. You will not feel good if you're not at an optimal level. If your body is not functioning optimally, you're not producing those hormones, your brain health is suffering because your brain is pretty much made of fat. So that's why you might even end up with brain fog if you're limiting your fat too much. So fats are good for you, but how much and what kinds of fats is what really matters. So in my program, I show people exactly how they can incorporate fats in their diet and they actually end up losing more weight than they thought that they would, and they end up having a better relationship with food. Because will you always say no to chocolate cake? Will you always say no to nuts?
Oh man, I already ate. I guess I'll just have a cheeseburger deluxe, a couple slices of pie, maybe an egg cream, and a waffle.
Will you always say no to salads with olive oil dressing? You cannot really live like that and have a positive relationship with food if you're doing it out of restriction rather than preference. And if you'd like to know more about how you can have a sustainable relationship with your food, you can sign up using the link down below and we can work together. That said, I look forward to seeing you in my next video, and I hope you do have a lovely week ahead. There'll be another video next week and we'll be addressing yet another myth when it comes to weight loss. Have a wonderful day.